Good afternoon.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Making sure I'm coming through okay. Yep. Can you all hear me all right, by the way? Is that a bit better or is that too loud? Not really sure with this microphone, still learning all these settings. But let me know I'm coming through okay and you can hear me clearly. Loud and clear. Hope everybody's well and trading's going good for you. And you're doing the proper stuff, risk management, all that kind of good stuff. Because if you do that, you'll be all right. Ahmed, how you doing? Lam, good to see you. Rohan, good to see you back. I appreciate you coming back. So we'll talk markets, shall we? I've actually just taken a little scalp here in silver. Because for me on this 200k, because the markets have been horrible for me, I've kind of got to go for it. So I've just taken a little short on these smaller time frames, trying to hopefully get a little bit a little bit back, and you know, just kind of go for it. Whether that works or not, we'll have to wait and see. Again, if I fail it, I just go again. I just fucking go again. You know, at the end of the day, I will get it at some point, and the money I make from it will be more than what I'm paying for it. I hope at the end of the day. Anyway, so I just took that little scalp. Whether this follows through or not, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think after this, I'm gonna go in on these scalping charts. Hopefully, take a little bit out of it, and let's see. Anyway, that's my personal stuff. Like I said, I always like to do it honestly. Like to do it live. This is what I do. No bullshit. So you can see the good times and the bad times. Unfortunately for me, when I started, so I was going through my annual. This is my annual so far. And so I had a 1.6 in January, quite a quiet month, a very good month in February, mainly down to that trade I talked about, that euro pound. CAD Swiss was a nice one as well. Standard month in March, good month, standard month in April, 1.5, good month in May. And then look at this, look at that. That is just minging, right? Oh, so you know, for me personally on my trading journey, and I guess everybody will go through the same things. Now Parsa, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for joining, appreciate it. So for me, you know, you always try to improve. You know, you think about the best athletes in the world, right? Messi, Ronaldo, etc., etc. They're always trying to get better at their stuff, and that's what I'm always trying to do. So I've not had a month like June in, I think it was 15, 16 months. But I never want to have that month again. So going back to the drawing board and saying, right, how do I get better? How do I stop this from happening ever again? Whether that's possible or not, I don't know. Maybe these things are going to happen all the time. You know, maybe we just have to accept that, you know, some months it's just not going to work out for you. Sometimes it's just not going to work out for you. And that's all right. You know, as long as you look back on your performance, and that kind of will help. You know, looking at the long term rather than the immediate, you know, the recent, basically. And yeah, how can I improve from that? That's the main thing I'm trying to do. Because as you go on in your journey, you always try and get better. You'll never sit there and say, do you know what, I've made it as a trader. Because these things will come back, and maybe I got a little bit cocky. Maybe I was like, oh, this is easy now. Look at this I'm having. So maybe I got a little bit cocky there. Maybe it was something to do with me starting this YouTube channel, thinking, okay, I'm starting now, and you know, someone from above is telling me, you know, here you go, this is the realities. Seems you target 1-to-1 RR. Yeah, well, for all my trades, Rohan, I take 50% out at 1 R, and I let 50% run. And if we look back, so if you look back on May, for example, if I hadn't done that in May, right, I probably would have lost a lot more money, because, you know, I hit my TP1s, but nothing was really flowing. Whereas in February, you know, things were flowing. You know, you got a 3.1, a 5.6, a 1.5, you know, things were flowing there. But I always like to take some money off the table. I like to pay myself when the market makes it available. You know, I go for the home run, but take a single. But, you know, the 50% running allows me to capture quite nice profits, you know, as that euro pound, and you might get a few of them a year that, you know, get you plus 10%, you know, on one trade, which really does make a difference. But yeah, I personally always like to pay myself when the market makes it available. And I do think that's, if it's not something that you guys do, it's something that I think you should test. Because, you know, how many times have you experienced a trade that's possibly going in your direction, right? Going in your direction, and you're thinking, wow, look at all this money I made, and it completely flips out, and possibly you hit stop loss, or possibly you hit break even, and you make $0 or negative dollars from it. I found that happened too often for me to not take money off the table when I'm making money. Again, that's just my personal opinion. Everybody trades a different way. If you've got a strategy that you've tested that you're looking for possibly 4-1, and you've got a lower win rate, like 30% or whatever, then that's perfectly fine. But for me, I like taking money off the table, and I find a lot of times, June not included, obviously, that helps my trading and it helps my results, because that's what the stats tell me. So yeah, that's what I do. As I said, go for the home run, but take a single. So indexes. Now, indexes, I'm going to say the same thing. I don't like the index, right? I've said it for a long time. I'm still going to say that. We had CPI data coming out the US yesterday, which was actually decent data, better than expected. We had initial drop. I'll show you the smaller time frame. So we had this initial drop on that data and recovered then, creating our V reversal and pushing on. Since breaking through all-time highs, we've kind of failed a little bit, right? And we're coming down. Now, I was saying that I wanted a harder reset, right? I was saying I wanted a harder reset at this point in time. We didn't get that. Even now, if we get this, it still wouldn't be the context that I like. So I was going through the index this morning thinking, well, what do I want to see here? Like, what do I want to see so I can be more confident in this index moving forward? We take it from the daily. We are in an uptrend, right? Buyers are in control. There's no doubt about that. Buyers have been in control for a while. But what I want to see is something like this. Something like this that, is a nice, healthy corrective, because that's what trends need. That's what trends need. Not this. I don't want to see this. I want to see a nice, healthy corrective, because yeah, you can say, look, we're moving on, the 20 period's close by, you've had a good bullish engulfer. Yeah, okay, you can say that. But again, with the health of that, the trend we're in, and we're seeing this in the Forex market. I think maybe if you're a scalper, possibly lower time frame charts, taking little bits, you might be doing okay. But for me, as a trend continuation trader, it's very difficult to get momentum and difficult to get follow through. Let me know, are you guys making money? So all the guys in the chat, are you doing well trading right now? How's your week been? How's your month been so far? I'm only taking 2 trades. I'm in the pound New Zealand, and I only had one other trade. So let me know how you guys are thinking. What are you guys thinking for the markets? Do you think we're on an uptrend? Are you worried about it? Do you like it? So it's not just, again, this is just my personal opinion, and everyone's got one. But what it looks to be at the moment is we're respecting this area of support, right, as we've done twice in the past. And if we can get a decent bullish bar here, which is coming on a little bit of volume, you could say, well, we continue to the upside, right? And that's the bias, isn't it? We are on an uptrend. We seem to be at the moment holding this support, and you've got to say the indexes are continuing to go up. Month to date, negative 3%. Okay, that's not too bad, Ron. I mean, that's not too bad. As long as your risk management is okay, then fine. I think once you're down, and the good thing that for me personally, I mean, the thing that I can say that I have conquered is I never revenge trade, ever. Right? I never over risk. I never do that on my actual account. Obviously, I've taken a scalp here on this one, but this is obviously a little bit different. But I never try and make that back, because I know it will come, right? I know eventually I'll have another big month, or I'll have one big trade. Your one big trade that comes now and again where you make a decent money. That's going to come. And losing it on a silly revenge trade, right? I can't honestly think of a time, or maybe once. I think maybe once maybe once I remember on a scalp. But I think that was the only time revenge trading has ever worked in my favor, ever. Right? And I tell people a lot about that 20 grand in 20 minutes once. All the other times I've done it, I cannot remember a revenge trade working in my favor. Because you think if let's say I was risking $1,000 positions, right? And you put a revenge trade on for 10 G's. Let's just for an easy example, right? Even if you've got a stop loss, let's say here, right, and you're entered in here, at this moment in a normal trade, you'd be like, okay, it's okay, I'm only going to lose $1,000. But here you're probably like negative $3,000, and you're thinking, oh shit. So even if this does come, you're probably going to exit out of it anyway, right? That's what I found in my revenge trading, is that sometimes I would actually get the trade right, but the emotional side was too much for me to keep it in. I almost had 7 back-to-back losing, hence taking some time out. Yeah, okay, I understand that, Rowan. Taking some time out is not a bad thing at all. Before I started my mentoring, which is when I said like my trading really took another step and I started to become profitable, I took 2 months out of the market over Christmas, and I didn't look at the charts. I didn't look at anything, and it actually helped me. You don't need as much as that, but I certainly needed extended time away, and came back a bit more refreshed, forgot about all the losses, and sometimes that does help. And it's also there's a tactic here that I was thinking that, once you're in these uncertain times, it's not a bad thing to take a week off, because if you've gone through periods where you make money, you kind of know when you're making money, and you kind of know when you're not making money, right? So, and it's whether you can actually do it. So for me, I'm addicted to this shit, right? I love it. I come to the computer every morning excited most of the time to make money. So whether I can actually take myself away for a week, which I think is sometimes the best option, certainly is if you go from a decent trending market to this, you might say, okay, well, I'll just stay away until possibly we break through this area. You know what I mean? Put an alert on your chart and saying, okay, I'm not going to trade because I've found over the last couple of months or year or 2 years that I normally don't make a decent bit of money or any money or lose money during these times. So there is a tactic there, but again, taking yourself away is quite difficult. I know, trust me. Still down from June's losses. Yeah, so am I, Lam. So am I. Like I said, I think there's some traders making money. There's some traders make money in certain conditions, other conditions. It's just dependent, isn't it? It's just dependent. It doesn't mean anyone's better than the other. There's no such thing as the Holy Grail. Sometimes you're going to take losses, but keeping your risk management, keeping your patience is what will make or break you. It will make or break you. Because you think about, what do the 5% do? The 5% of profitable traders, they don't overtrade and they don't over risk. They don't take trades out with their strategy. So as soon as you do that, right, you're already a failing trader. So if you don't do that, great. Like, generally pat yourself on the back because of it. Because that's a big thing. And I think traders that are, learning, don't pat themselves on the back enough. If you do something good, we always focus on the negatives. For me, even the last month, I'm focusing on the negatives. Shit. When am I going to win the next trade? And I've forgotten about my January, my February, my March, April, May. That's gone out the window. I had to remind myself this morning that, I've had a great year. I'm still up. Bear in mind this month has been shit, but, I'm still up. And making sure you do give yourself the praise when you need it rather than focus on that negatives. Because I do think that's important. And not a lot of traders do that. They just focus too much on, oh God, you're an idiot. Why have you done that? So that's my little tip. Anyway. By the way, thanks for everyone tuning in. Wow, 12. That's quite good for me. I'm almost at my record. We're getting a few more people on the stream. I really appreciate you guys joining me. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you find some value. And anyway, let's get into the markets, shall we? So what I'm looking at here is if this 4-hour closes quite nicely, then I think we move to the upside. David, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Thank you for coming up. Not seeing you in here. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining. So that's why I think in the index, the trend is up, and we've got to go with that. But again, I still don't like it. So I'm just reading through the chat. I had a good trade on Euro NZD. Euro NZD. Let's have a look at it. I actually, you know, on that fake out strategy that I have, right, we almost got there. So if we look at this, I took the fake out roughly about here, right? I think it was here. We got just stopped out and, you know, now it's gone down. So you see the premise of it works, right? So the premise of that kind of fake out definitely works. And that's what's exciting about it, but we just didn't get in there in the right time. I presume you've taken a short, Ahmed, right? Probably taking a short. Anyway, well done. Good trade. Okay, the dollar. The dollar is, you know, still biased is to the upside. We're still going into this kind of rising wedge. What I'm expecting, I think we get to this area, as I said on Monday, and this is when I think the market has a decision time to make. My bias and what I feel is we kind of walk on up here, and if we do break through roughly around this structure, we could possibly see a decent move down in the dollar. There's going to be some selling pressure here, right? Because you remember, markets have a memory, right? So markets have a memory. People will remember this point in time where the dollar came up to and completely failed. So that's why my bias is what it is. You know, my bias is we get up there, and I think, you know, you might have profit taking from those buyers down here, sellers possibly coming in. If we do break this structure, I could see a decent drop in there. Now, that's not confirmed. It's also important to note that's not confirmed, but that's still what I think. So intraday, this is looking decent for a break, you know, and playing US dollar to the upside makes sense for me. You know, playing USD strength makes sense for me. So if you got a setup in the dollar, you know, I would be quite comfortable buying it right now. Pound New Zealand. So this is the one I'm personally in now. Not in this account. Unfortunately, I had to take it out because, you know, I couldn't afford to get a bigger loss. But this is actually recovering quite well. I'm still in this on my actual funded account, but not in this on this one. So ABC pushing through. It looked as if we were kind of coming down on that NZD news last night, but we're recovering here into what looks to be a possible V reversal. Possible. Remember, it's not confirmed, those Vs, until we break through the highs. But this pullback is looking quite strong. So if this can continue to pull back and we close on the daily, similar to this, that looks quite nice. You know, it does look quite nice. We've had that drop on you know, on the news, and now we're recovering. So Pound New Zealand, I still like that. I'm still long on that in my main account, and I will continue to be until, you know, if or when we get stopped out or hit TP. So like I said, I'm not in on this account. I kind of saw this drop and thought, right, I'm just going to get out of it. But, you know, as we know with these challenges, these FTMO challenges or funded account challenges, it's not really proper trading. There's risks you have to take in order to get it. Anyway, so USD check is another one that I'm looking at. USD check on this daily chart. Market's moving well due to Pound New Zealand USD news. Yeah, I mean, it may be moving well for you, Sean. For me personally, it's not really moving well. In terms of my setups, there's not many, but I do think it's potentially getting a little bit better. I do like the pound. You know, I like the pound longs. I like USD longs. New Zealand, I'd have to wait for that digestion. You know, normally with New Zealand, if you get decent news in New Zealand, it's one of the pairs that kind of digest it quite well. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, the New Zealand does digest news quite well. So if you've got a buy in the New Zealand, I'm not saying that's going to happen this time, but that is one of the characteristics of that pair. So finding out that kind of information can help your trading as well. Sean, I'm not seeing you in here. Are you new into the stream? I've not seen you. But anyway, thanks for coming. USD check is setting up quite nicely. Cup with handle. Broken through that area. We've got our potential A wave here. What I want to see is a complex corrective. So we come back and retest this area again to give us our favorite, or my favorite ABC. Possible catalyst similar to this. on that area, and yeah, I take that trade to the upside. That would be quite nice on USD check. So USD check potential longs. You know, for me, this is not enough of a retest yet to be able to take this to the upside, but it's almost there. Hey mate, what do you think about USD CAD long? I'll go into USD CAD parser. I've got a few more on my personal watch list that I'll look at, and then I'll go into USD CAD. If you guys want me to look at anything else, let me know. But then I'll go into USD CAD. Gold. Now gold, I like gold, right? I like gold to the upside. I like this setup, right? Nice head and shoulders here. Digested that move to the upside. The only reason why I can't take gold is because of this 200, right? So that's the frustrating thing about it, and that's what I've seen for a few setups now is you know, there's things there within my checklist, right? And because I've got a checklist saying I can't take one if the 200's in the way of a one-to-one risk reward, I can't take the trade. So unless this gives us a potential complex here, let that 200, if I zoom in, let that 200 kind of come through so the breakout is over it, then yeah, okay. But right now, can't take it. But on this hourly chart, it looks not bad, right? So the hourly chart, looking at head and shoulders, you can look at this as a potential cut with handle here for a breakthrough, a retest to head to the upside. You know, and I kind of like the idea of gold longs, you know, just as a safe haven play because of where the index is. You know, if you've been watching me a few times, you'll know that I'm a little bit iffy on this index and I think something's coming. So, you know, potential gold longs, albeit, yes, okay, there's US dollar strength. But if we get what we think in the US dollar as well, with a potential, you know, big move to the downside, maybe that helps gold. But, yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't take that on the 4 hour. But there's a potential there on the hourly chart for a gold long. 225. 225 is the last one that I have. The other two aren't really ready. So this is the 225 Nikkei. This is quite nice as well. Right, so we had our big V reversal here. Daily chart looks good. Come back to the 200 and give us our big engulfing bar. Again, very simple bar. Pushed up from this area. We're possibly in this larger corrective, looking for continuation to the upside. So you can see how these indexes, right? This index looks so much better than the SPX. A lot of these under indexes do. And I need a little bit more here to digest this big move to the upside. So if we can get, again, my famous or my favorite ABC, something like this, to take this to the upside, it'll be crossing over the 200, roughly around that 20. Yeah, for sure I take that 225 to the upside. That's quite nice. All right, I'll do these USD CAD, pound Swiss, USD CAD. Which direction are you looking, Parsa? I presume you're looking to the upside, just right off the bat looking at it. What I would, if you're looking smaller time frames, right, this looks not bad as a, you know, a simple kind of push corrective, you know, pushing on from here. Yeah, that looks good to the upside. However, what we have seen recently is a lot of kind of fake breaks, a lot of lack of follow through. But, you know, yeah, that looks not bad to the upside. Certainly getting up possibly around these areas. If we can get a push through, notice this push is coming on a little bit of volume. That's good to see. There probably will be a reaction around this 200 daily, but I expect on the lower time frames you'll have some time to move for that. So you'll probably, you know, get your risk reward before it hits that. Yeah, 4 hour looks not bad. We've had a corrective here. You could call this an ABC 1-2. Push through, digesting that big 4 hour. You know, a couple of hammer bars here, again on a decent bit of volume. Yeah, I don't mind that to the upside, Parsa. Looks not bad. Looks not bad. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss, I mean, for me personally, buying it, yeah, for sure. You know, I like the idea of buying the pound. I think the pound comes into a decent bit of strength. And the good thing about this, who asked me, Lamb, is, you know, we're certainly out of the stage of trend continuation to the downside, right? you know, that is not a pullback for me. That's, you know, you got to be worrying if you're selling the pound Swiss then. Big, decent bullish bar on open. You'll probably get a reaction around this 4-hour 200. But, you know, as a trade, yeah, I like the pound Swiss long. I do. And, you know, if stocks decide to push up as well, you'd expect the Swiss to weaken off. Normally, whether that happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. But pound Swiss to the upside look good. Yeah, I like those two. USD CAD looks decent to the upside. Pound Swiss looks decent to the upside as well. USD CAD I'm long from yesterday. Double bottom on the 4-hour. So roughly around here, right? It's not quite... I mean, it is a double bottom. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Ahmed. Actually, they do say the best double bottoms are exactly like this, right? When you actually have the second bottom a little bit higher than the first. So if you've got that as a double bottom, they're actually supposed to work better, right? But yeah, I like the idea of both of them to the upside. But I just one thing I will say is within this market, expect the unexpected. It could look great technically to the upside, but you know, we've seen a lot of lack of follow through, and that seems to be indicative. But yeah, as a bias, I like them both. So okay, that'll be it for me today. I'll be back on Friday. If you are watching and you haven't subbed to the channel, I'm trying to get to 100 subs. I'm on 88, so I'm growing a little bit, which is great. If you could like the video, that apparently helps me out. Again, I'm still learning all this YouTube nonsense. But yeah, if you're not subbed to the channel, it'd be great if you hit sub. And I'm going to be putting another YouTube video out this week on drawdowns, what I've gone through the past week. So I'll do that as well. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. I do really appreciate it. And I'll see you all on Friday, same time, same place. Let's make some money. All right, guys. Trade safe. Peace.